So we are here with Tiago. Thank you, Tiago, for being with us today. Tiago actually lives in the same city as most of us from G Nation lives on, Coimbra City in Portugal. So welcome, Tiago. How are you feeling today?
I'm fine, thank you. I hope this talk will be fun as I expected. Yeah.
So are we killing robots or not?
Uh, or they will be killing us. I don't know. It can go either way.
Okay, so I see that you have a baby from what you can see in the background, right?
Yes, she's over a year now. She's very cute, and yeah, she's not here because otherwise it would be impossible to do this.
Yeah, amazing. Same here. Mine is like 1 year older than yours. Yeah, baby girls are amazing.
Mhm.
So, just want to tell everyone that if you can ask questions both on YouTube channel or on Slack, and I will be relaying those questions to Tiago. Are you ready, Tiago?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. I hope we get to learn something about view composing API and robots. So in this talk, I will present view-powered fluffy killing robots. So I don't know if Vue.js is evil or is good. Maybe we will find out. So we will dive in Vue.js 3 composition API and learn this new API through robots and hardware. Also, maybe mankind will be annihilated. But before, a bit about the future. We don't know what the future will bring about using robots. We do know that there will be lots of robots in the future. We have more and more robots. I really hope that they will be nice robots. That's what I expect, and not the one from like the one from Terminator. But I mean, uh, even if robots are not good, I don't think the future will can be much worse than 2020, right? So yeah, even if there is a robot uprising and they destroy humanity, I mean, humanity had is its shot, and we kind of blew it. So if robots want to take over, I don't know, maybe it's their turn. So I am Tiago. I love robots. This is a time where I was giving another presentation on robots, and I did this. So if you are a robot from the future and you are looking at this talk right now, know that I love robots. I am on your side. Please don't kill me. You can put me in that human zoo that you will make for humanity. I also love Vue.js. It's my favorite framework. I also love NativeScript, which is a framework for developing native applications with JavaScript and also with Vue.js. And I love IRC.com. That's my company. We are bringing IRC protocol to the 21st century and building actual um, usable solutions on top of IRC. So that's me. Oh, I am Tiago, by the way. So Vue.js version 3. Why is this important? Why should we learn it? Well, first we have the reactivity package. It's actually now standalone, so you can grab it and use it in other projects. That's pretty cool. So you can use all of Vue.js reactivity with Angular, or even with Node, or with React, or even with Arduinos and some hardware, as we will see next. Also, in Vue.js version 2, whenever we wanted to like compose some behavior, we had to use mixins or scoped slots, but that syntax was not great. It was kind of confusing. Sometimes if our application grew too much, we couldn't tell where the data was coming from. It was a mess. So the new composition API is much clearer and allows us to compose our application in a much straightforward way. Also, VueJS version 3 uses proxies to listen to changes in an object, and so it's much faster. And yeah, so VueJS version 3 is important. I know that VueJS community was a bit mad about all these new changes, and changes are hard. Everyone understands that, but VueJS version 3 will actually brings lots of things that will make our lives easier. Also, if you don't want to use any of this, you don't have to. So all the composition API is purely additive. So if you don't want to use it, you can just keep using VueJS as you have always used. So JavaScript plus robots, you have NodeBots. That's the name that you will find on the internet. So if you want to use JavaScript to program robots, search for NodeBots, and that's where you'll find all the cool stuff. I will be using this amazing project, Johnny5, that it has lots of a very clean API for all types of hardware, of boards, Arduino, Raspberry Pis, everything. And the API is very clean, is very simple to use. So I highly recommend it if you want to start playing with this kind of stuff. So, but if you grab NodeBots and you add Vue, you have Vuebots. So you will not believe it, but I actually invented the word Vuebots. So yeah, Vuebots. Robots built with Vue. Wow, will this work? Let's see. So let's start by trying some hardware and some code and mixing some VueJS reactivity to see if we get this working. So I will switch to my editor, and you can see on this side a mess of wires and also an Arduino, and there is a LED here, a button here, and some more stuff that I will show you later. So let's dive into the reactive API. So with Vue, you can actually import the reactivity module as a standalone. So you don't have to import everything in Vue just to use the reactivity. And you can use this module in a separate way. So in here, I am like starting Johnny5, starting my board, which represents my Arduino right there. And so when the board is ready, I can start doing some cool stuff. So I am creating a LED, or a representation of that LED. So it's in the hardware pin number 2. So it's a wire that goes probably up here. It's this one. And okay, so this is where VueJS reactivity starts. I am creating a ref, which is kind of a value that it's observed. So whenever this value changes, VueJS internally is observing these changes, and we can do stuff with it. So what am I doing with it? So I am creating an effect. So it's like a a watch on Vue 2. So whenever this value changes, LED on changes, I am turning the LED on or off. So if LED on is true, it will turn on the LED. If it's false, it will turn it off. And then I am setting an interval to flip this value. So every 500 milliseconds, it will flip this value on or true, false, and then true again. So I can run this, and hopefully, okay, we have a blinking LED. Okay, let's all take a moment to admire the beauty of having a LED that's being controlled not only with JavaScript, but also with VueJS reactivity. So I don't know if Evan ever thought that his code would ever be used to turn on an actual physical LED and not just some pixels on a screen. This is Vue in the real world, in the material world. Pretty cool. Okay, but I think we can do more cool stuff. So I also have a button right here, and I have some code for it. I will move it up here and uncomment. Oops, and uncomment it. So I am creating a button, and I am creating also another ref for this button. So the button has 3 states. Up, so when the button is like up, so not pressed. Down, when it's pressed, and hold, when you press and hold it. And we can see this in action. So yeah, the LED is blinking, and okay, I forgot to do this. So just so that I can see that something is happening, each time the button state value changes, I am logging it, so you can see something. So let's see. Okay, cool. Button up, button is down, button hold, up, down, hold. Okay, cool. So now I know that when I press that button, Vue.js is updating this this button state ref. Now I can do other cool stuff. So instead of having this LED on to be a simple ref, I can make it a computed property. So the state of the LED is a computed property based on the value of the button state. So I can sometimes, okay, I think I can do this. Let's see. Okay. What did I do? Okay, yeah. So now this is a computed value, and I cannot set this interval. I cannot be changing a computed value because it's read only. So yeah. Okay, so now I have my button up, and when I press the button or when I hold it, so when I press or hold, the LED on will be true, and so the LED will be turned on. Okay, cool. So right now, the LED is turning on because I press this button, which changes a reactive reference on Vue.js, which in turn turns on the state with an effect or with a watch. So pretty cool so far. But I think we can take this a bit further. I have this other file. Okay, in this file, I am using another component. So I am also using the LED. Okay, so it's the same LED on pin number 2, and I created a reference named blink with a value 182. So blink 182. So, and when this value changes, I have an effect that will set the blinking value of the LED. So this means that the LED will blink in 122 every 182 milliseconds. I can run this. Let's see this working. Okay, it's blinking. Cool. But yeah, but we are doing more. I have this sensor. This sensor is another component. It's this like potentiometer. I can like, I can rotate this. See, and when I rotate this, you can see the value changing there, and it's actually changing the blinking value. So when I turn left, the LED blinks faster, and when I turn right, the LED blinks slower. Okay, cool. So it's also reactive, and it's changing very fast. You can see those values changing very fast, but Vue can deal with this kind of stuff. No problem. Cool. So right now we grabbed the reactivity module in Vue, and we are using it in a totally separate context to change and update some state. Cool. And then watch that state. That's good, but I think we can go. Oops, not this. Sorry. What happened? Okay. Okay, so we are using the reactivity part of Vue. But, you know, I don't know about you, but one of my favorite features in Vue is actually the components. The fact that you can create some behavior using components and you know, combining different components and wrapping behavior in components. So I really wanted to use also components, but in Vue for the web, your components will be wrapping divs and things like that that will be changing the virtual DOM, and then will be updated on the browser. But so with Arduinos and nodes, we don't actually have divs or spans or anything like that. We have other types of components. So how can we use the components with Node? So there is this thing called runtime, and in the VueJS project, you have the runtime DOM, so it's the runtime that runs on the browser. So the runtime is the component that it's responsible for you know, running components. It mounts components and makes sure they actually do something. But there's also this other runtime, the runtime tests. That's a very basic runtime. It's used for testing Vue for internal tests, but it's actually enough for doing some cool stuff with components and Vue, and we will see that now. Okay, components. So this is what we are doing now. Okay, we are also importing some reactivity stuff. And then we are importing the age function. That's like the render function, I think. And the render function itself and other stuff we can also import on mounted, so we can grab the mounted events. And I am importing all this from the test runtime. And so this is where things are interesting. I am creating a VueJS component here called led. And the new composition API allows us to have this special method set up where we can, initialize our component, and instead of putting our code everywhere in several methods and lifecycle hooks, you can do it all in one function, which is kind of cool. This function can return a function that's actually the render function. So our led component will not render anything because there is nothing to render. And so this is my component. It receives some props, including the pin, the pin number, the hardware pin number, and it initializes the LED from Johnny5, and then it uses that same effect to listen to the state of props.on, so the prop on, and turn on and off. So kind of the same thing that we were doing before, but now we are wrapping this behavior in a component with just a couple lines of code. I also have the same thing for the button. So I am initializing the button. There is a prop that will be the pin. And then the button has 3 events, and I am registering all 3 events and emitting the event, so event up, down, and hold, and also emitting an event like a global event, a change event, so that whenever, for instance, if I have a down event, this will emit the event change, and then with the data down. So it's good if I want to listen to all events at once. So I have these 2 basic components that represent these 2 pieces of hardware right here. So now we can start building our robot using this using these components. So that's what I am doing here. I am creating a bot component. This will be like my app component, but it's a robot. I am creating some reactive state. So I have 2 things. I have a LED, so and a button. So this is the state of the LED. It starts false, and this is the state of the button. It starts up because the button is up. Then I created an effect to watch on these changes and to log these values, so we can see some stuff happening. And then on mounted, so when this component, the bot component, is mounted, and I am setting an interval to flip the state of the LED, just like we did before. And then I am returning my render function. So with this h function, the name of the component is app, but it could be anything because there are no real tags here. So yeah. And then this component has 2 children. One LED component with the pin set to number 2. So these are the props of this component. And then I am also passing a prop on that is linked to the state. So this prop will change when this state also changes. And I also have a button, so I am listening to changes in the button. So on change, this is the change event right here. I am setting the state of the button to the value that comes in the event. So then I am creating like the root element, and when the board is ready, I will render uh, my bot component in the root element. You can imagine this could be like the main div of your application, but it's not a div, so I put here bot. Okay, cool. Let's see if this works. Okay, so right now you can see the LED is blinking as expected, and when I change this this state, this button, you can also see this state changing. State. Then I can also do something else. So if I want to link the state of the button to the state of the LED, I can use this effect that has the same code that we saw before. So whenever the state is down or hold, I am setting the LED on state to true or false. So let's see if this works. Okay, I have to clean this effect. Let me just. And there we go. So right now I have a Vue application, I think, with two components, and they are talking through the state, the reactive state declared here. Cool. So now we have reactivity, and we have components. We can like split our robot in separate components. Cool. But can we go further? I think so. So I am glad to present you the first ever Vuebot, complete Vuebot. And because this is the first ever Vuebot, it's the Vuebot 3000, because it's the first, so I had to name it Vuebot 3000. So get ready. You are about to see some history here. I will unveil this new robot, Vuebot. So you can see it. Dun, dun, dun. It has a nice view over here. Okay, there you go. Okay, this is the first Vuebot ever. And you can see it has like two eyes. It has a little nose and a mouth. So this robot is in a very good place. It's actually very advanced. Let me just move this on, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I made the robot with these components because I want to give it some personality and some, some feelings. So I divided like every possible mood that a human has in two axes. So you can be sad or happy. Okay, so it's like a degree. And you can be evil or good. So if you are happy and if you are good, it's like that good feeling of happiness. And I have like the greatest actor in history to show us all these moods. So if you are sad, but it's kind of a good sad, maybe you are missing someone, or you are sad because you have deep good feelings about someone. This is the expression that you make. But also you can be sad, but also an evil type of sadness. So you are sad, but also angry. You are desperate, and so this is the face that you make. And there is then the worst kind of mood. You can be happy and evil. So you are evil, but you are happy about your evilness. So you are like sadistic, and you are smiling, but with an evil smile. So this robot can, I thought that if I can represent all these moods in my robot, I think I have a very good place to start. So let's see how this works. So, okay. So, this is my robot. I will let me show so that you can still see the alignment stuff. So, when the eye is green, that's because he's feeling good. And when the light is red, that means that he's feeling evil. So, because green is the light of view, and red is the color of, that other framework. So when I press this button, the robot goes from evil to good or to evil. And I can also use the same potentiometer to set the mood. So very good, he's like smiling. And when I move the other way, he makes like that front face. Okay, there is some interference in here. Come on. Okay, and also I can show like the whole spectrum of human experience. So I have like very sad, a little sad, normal sad. I am changing this now. Little sad, a little happy, and very happy. So this is how this robot shows how it's feeling. So how was this done? And right now I will just show you the code. Okay. Okay, so I am importing the reactivity stuff, the runtime test, so that I can mount my components. I am also, okay, these are some like electric interferences, or maybe my robot is starting to gain conscience. I don't know. Okay, but so I also created this this file components where I am creating all types of components, the LED, the button, the servo, that's the motor, the potentiometer, the light sensor, and I am exporting all this so that I can import it here. I am importing all these components here. Then I have my main app. I created a reactive object, so and I call it the brain. So it's where the main feelings are. So it's in the brain, and the brain has two properties: happiness, that goes from 0 to 100. So 0 is very unhappy, 100 is very happy. And then the alignment, good or evil. Then I am creating an effect just to log some stuff so that we can see it happening. Okay, so then I am right here. I have the servo. I have the eyes. I will go to that later. Then I have the servo. That's the motor. That I am passing as a prop a tool property. This is like the angle where the servo will move, and this is using the value from this computer property. So the angle of the mouth will be the brain happiness plus 40. There's just some calculations to put it in the right place. So then I am also changing the happiness through the potentiometer. That's this little thing right here, this little knob. So when I move down, it makes him more unhappy. When I move up, it makes it more happy. Cool. I need to go faster. And I have the button to change the mood, so the alignment. So good, evil, good, evil, good. Okay, great. So that's how it's working. But I don't know if you saw it. I also have this eyes component. Well, what's this? So since I am using components, I can also use view components to like encapsulate some behavior. So I think the eyes don't need to be in my main, the LEDs don't have to be in my main app component. So I can put it in a separate file and in a separate component for priority. So these are the eyes. So it's a simple component that has two that has a radar function that has two LEDs. So and when the alignment is bad, it will turn pin 7 on, and when the alignment is good, it will turn the pin 8 on, the LED on pin 8 on. So it's cool. Oh, by the way, these are the LEDs that I built in my components file. Cool. So that's how it's working now. So when I change this, when I tap this button, the alignment will come through to this component through this property, the alignment property, and then this will in turn change the LED on or off. Okay, that's cool, but right now I must confess that this robot feels a little creepy because it doesn't blink. You can see that his eyes may never blink. Now, this is a great opportunity to show some use functions. So you can build use functions to encapsulate some behavior that you don't want to pollute your main application. So you can put that behavior like in a separate component and or in a separate module and reuse it. So it's the same with blinking your eyes. You don't actually have conscience of when your eyes blink. It doesn't. Your brain does it automatically. Actually, it's not your brain. it's your cerebellum. Okay. So it's like a part of your brain that works on its own. So blinking, it's also some function that works on its own. So I created this use function, and I created this use function. It's very simple to create them. You can, it's just a function. You can have internal state in there. So in this function, I am booting the light sensor. Oh, by the way, the light sensor is the node right here. So I am creating and so that I can listen to the state. Why am I doing this? Because you blink more when you have a lot of light. Okay, so and when there is dark, and when it's darker, you blink. You don't need to blink as much. So that's why the light sensor is there. And so then I am creating this blink function that reads the state of the sensor and calculates when the next blink will be, and then it sets a timeout there, and okay, and then to turn it on, and then whenever it blinks, it turns it on, and then after 200 milliseconds, it turns it off and calculates the next blink. And I am exporting this. Cool. So I can. So then I am importing. This is not okay. I think it's like this. Okay. So I can now use this blinking value in this component. And so I can add this to the on property on each eye. So the eye LED will be on if it has the right alignment, and if it's not blinking, because when it's blinking, the eye will be shut. So let's see if this works. You can see it blinking. Okay, and when I put a stronger light there, it blinks faster. And when I pick it up, it blinks slower. And if I cover it, it blinks even slower. So right now I have a robot that shows all kinds of moods, and it also blinks. I think it's very close to being actually almost human. I don't know what you think, but that's what I feel. So I'm almost finishing. Okay, bye. So some conclusions. The composition API is very cool because you can use reactivity by itself. You can use it in all sorts of contexts, and it works fine. And it provides more potential to separate app logic and reuse that logic, like I did with that use blink function. So if I want to improve this robot, I can do lots of things. Maybe I will have like a model that will be a computed value, or maybe fall in love will be a function from the heart, or maybe consciousness will be this huge reactive object with all sorts of things in it. And maybe annihilate humanity can be a reference to some value. I don't know. I am not a robot. So I just want to say that Vuebots will sooner or later take over the world. Resistance is futile. At least you are warned, so you can be on their good side now. And thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it. I am Tiago Alves, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Tiago. I can say that it was different. So please, guys, if you have any question for Tiago, just put them in the YouTube live stream or in our Slack channel. I have a quick question for you, Tiago, actually. Have you had any contact from Hollywood by now?
No, no, but I think it would make like a great movie, and yeah, maybe a bit nerdy, but a nice movie.
Let's just wait for some questions. Let's see if we have any on Slack.
Okay, it will.
Yes, we don't have a question for now. But I like one of the comments that we have on the YouTube live stream from Bereno, who says that it's alive, Dr. Tiago Stein to 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see.
Okay. Good.
I think we have a question now. What application to IoT can you imagine in this moment for Vuebot?
Well, there are, tons of things that even as I was building this, I was thinking about, like, maybe reading a Twitter feed and set the mood of the robots to happy or sad according to tweets. No, the possibilities are endless. So maybe control the house, but using Vue, as you can see, it makes it very easy to compose your behavior. You can see that this robot is it's simple, but it's not even that simple. But I was able to separate several bits of code through different files that I can reuse. So I think using Vue for this kind of stuff, it works. Yeah.
Okay, so another question from Breno. What is the basic hardware I should buy to start testing this?
Okay, I have like the most inexpensive Chinese Arduino you can buy, and it works fine. So this is like a support Arduino just to give power to the motor, because the main Arduino was not strong enough to power the monitor, the motor. But you can buy like a big kit with Arduino and all sorts of um, LEDs and sensors and components and wires and the bread box and all this stuff, and even a remote controller, more motors for like $20 on Alibaba or even Amazon. So there are some really cool kits, and inexpensive ones. But try Arduino Uno. I think it's the easiest to get started. It works like right away. So yeah.
Okay, so we just have time for one last question from Elder Ventura. Will we see more and more Vue in IoT?
I don't know. I really feel like now I want to create a library around Vue and um, and, Johnny 5 for this kind of stuff, maybe with more examples. I will put this code on GitHub. So if you want to go and check out and try new stuff, yeah, go for it. But I think it's a good idea.
Okay, I think that's all for now. Thank you very much, Tiago, and to everyone else. We will be back at 1 p.m. So in 8 minutes from now. Thank you.